Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be talking about dating
Okay.
and more specifically, how a woman's independence can be seen by men.
Interesting.
So we found this Reddit thread that uses the phrase masculine energy, and it really got some strong
I
opinions.
bet.
So this 24-year-old woman is asking if being self-sufficient is actually a turnoff for guys.
Hmm.
The responses are really all over the place.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Some guys find it intimidating, others love it, and then
I like
there's...
being in between.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts about this?
Well, it makes you think about traditional gender roles and how relationships are changing, right? Like,
Yeah.
is what's considered masculine or feminine changing? And then how does all that affect what we look for in a partner?
Totally.
This woman, the original poster, she's super capable.
Oh, yeah.
Career, finances, home
Like
repairs.
it's nothing.
Right. But she's noticing that some men kind of pull back when they get to know her better.
So it's almost like she's too independent, and it's making the guys uncomfortable.
It could be like she's exceeding their quote-unquote independence quota or something.
And it's interesting because she even says that she might have what some people call masculine energy,
Oh, wow.
which means that she's kind of internalized some of these stereotypes herself.
Exactly. And that's where it gets complicated.
For sure.
On the one hand, we're telling women to be independent and self-sufficient,
Right.
but then sometimes those qualities are seen as a bad thing when it comes to dating.
Absolutely. So let's look at some of the responses on this Reddit thread.
Okay.
One guy said, quote, "It's really fun to be needed, to feel like you are making a significant contribution to someone else's life."
Hmm.
So it seems like a lot of men want to feel like they have a specific role to play.
Like the provider or protector.
Exactly.
I think it goes back to those societal expectations.
Yeah.
You know, if men are always told that they need to provide and protect,
Mhm.
then a woman who doesn't need those things might make them question their own role.
That makes sense. But then you also have these guys who are totally drawn to independent women.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One commenter said, quote, "If I was 35 years younger, I would have walked through a blizzard for a chance to ask you out. You'll find someone to match your energy, and he will be a lucky man."
Ah, that's nice.
I know, right?
It shows that attraction is really subjective.
Definitely.
Like what one person finds intimidating and another might find super appealing.
Yeah.
So it's about finding someone who's compatible with you, someone who really gets you and likes you for who you are instead of trying to fit into a mold.
100%.
Yeah.
Another guy said, quote, "Nothing hotter than a lady who has her shit together. Bonus points for owning your own home."
Yeah.
I don't want a dependent thing. I think few guys do.
No, that's interesting.
Right.
It seems like some men are looking for a partner who is an equal, someone who brings their own strengths to the relationship and isn't relying on them for everything.
Totally. But now let's look at the other side of things.
Okay.
Some guys were not into this whole independent woman thing at all. One comment that really stood out was, quote, "Masculine energy from a woman equals small dick man energy." It's annoying as fuck.
Yikes.
I know, right? That's a pretty strong reaction.
What do you think is behind that?
Well, it seems like it might be a fear of emasculation.
Like the woman's strength is threatening their masculinity.
Exactly. It's like they think if the woman is powerful, the man must be less so.
Right, but relationships shouldn't be about competition.
Of course not.
They should be about collaboration and mutual respect.
Definitely. And there's also this assumption that masculine energy in a woman means negative traits.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Another comment said, quote, "When they say that they exhibit masculine energy, what they really mean is that they're entitled, demanding, uncompromising, and aggressive."
Oh, wow.
So they're basically saying that being independent means being difficult.
Right.
And that's just not true.
It's a harmful stereotype.
Absolutely. Now, the original poster, she actually added some edits to her post
Oh, really?
to explain what she means by masculine energy. She says it's not about her appearance,
Okay.
but more about her personality. Like she's super independent and a planner.
Interesting.
And she says that it's partly because of her tough childhood.
Right, so our past experiences can definitely shape how we approach relationships,
But,
how we see ourselves.
For sure. She also compares herself to her friends, who she sees as more carefree
Mm-hmm.
and focused on healing energy,
I see.
whereas she's all about getting things done and planning for the future.
So she's worried that she comes across as standoffish.
Exactly. And she thinks that might be why men are initially interested, but then they pull away.
It makes you wonder how you can be authentic but also open and approachable in dating.
A tough balance.
Right. Like, how do you show your true self without pushing people away?
And that's where the advice from other Reddit users gets really interesting.
Oh, how so?
Some people tell her to be more traditionally feminine
Mm,
or tone down her independence,
okay.
and others say she should just be herself and find someone who likes her as she is.
So she's getting mixed messages.
Totally. And it really reflects the pressures that women face
Yeah,
when it comes to dating.
absolutely. So what should she do?
Should she change who she is or hold out for someone who accepts her?
That's a big question.
It is. And that's what we're going to be discussing in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
We'll explore those different perspectives and
Right.
see if we can figure out how to navigate this whole complex situation.
I'm interested to hear what you find.
Me too.
So we're back and talking about masculine energy and dating and all those mixed messages women get.
Right. Like be independent, but not too independent.
Yeah, exactly.
Be strong, but don't be intimidating.
It's so hard to get that balance right.
I know. And I think this Reddit thread really shows how those messages play out in real life.
Yeah.
Like some men feel threatened by a woman's independence,
Mhm.
but others find it really attractive.
It all comes down to finding someone who's compatible with you.
Right. Someone who likes you for who you are.
Exactly.
There were some comments in the thread about what compatible partners might be looking for.
Oh, like what?
One guy said, quote, "My advice would be to find men who value competence." That's the turn on for me. I don't know if it's masculine energy.
So it's not about fitting into some idea of what's feminine,
Yeah, it's more about being capable and having your life together.
which a lot of people find attractive.
Definitely.
There are lots of men out there who want a partner who's intelligent and resourceful.
Yeah, and who can handle things on her own.
Exactly. They see those things as positives.
I love that.
It gives me hope that we're moving past those old stereotypes.
For sure.
That's starting to think about what makes a good partner in a different way.
Right. Another thing that came up was that the term masculine energy can mean different things to different people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
One person said, quote, "Masculine is too vague of a description."
I agree.
What one person thinks is masculine might be totally different for someone else.
Totally.
I think it shows how important communication is in relationships.
Yeah. You have to be clear about what qualities you're looking for and what your values are.
And what masculine energy actually means to you.
Exactly.
Right.
Does it mean being assertive or independent or ambitious?
Right. Those are all important questions.
For sure.
Another commenter talked about his wife, who he said was a tough-as-nails, badass woman.
Wow.
He said he loved her independence and strength,
Oh, it's sweet.
and they had a really happy relationship.
That's so great to hear.
I know. It shows that you don't have to change who you are to find someone.
Exactly. There are men out there who like strong women. They might not be the loudest or the most obvious,
Right.
but they're up there.
And they appreciate those qualities.
Absolutely.
So the original poster is also kind of anxious about making the first move.
Oh, really?
She even said it's her worst fear,
I see.
but she thinks she might have to do it if she wants to date.
And a lot of people on Reddit are telling her to do just that.
Really?
One guy said, quote, "Given your stoicism and independence, why rely on others to make the first move?"
It's like he's saying if you're comfortable taking charge in other areas of your life, why not in dating?
Yeah, exactly. And he goes on to say, quote, "It's entirely possible men you're interested in and are interested in you simply aren't used to women who are like you and don't know how to proceed or misinterpret your independence as a lack of interest."
So maybe some guys are just intimidated by her
Yeah, or they're not sure how to approach her.
because she's not the typical damsel in distress.
Right.
So maybe she needs to be more direct about what she wants.
Exactly. If you're interested in someone, don't be afraid to make the first move.
I think that's good advice.
It could open up a lot of possibilities.
Totally. Another interesting part of the thread was the discussion about societal expectations.
Oh, yeah, like how they affect dating.
Exactly. One person wrote, quote, "There's a reason why divorce rates are as high as they are. Women trying to redefine gender roles is definitely playing a part in that."
Wow, that's a pretty strong opinion.
I know, right? It's like he's saying that women should just stay in their place and let men take the lead.
Which is a pretty old-fashioned way of thinking.
It is. But thankfully, not everyone agrees with him.
Oh, good.
Another person wrote, quote, "We want a woman who will come along beside us, to help us, to let us help them. Any man who is put off by a self-sufficient woman isn't a man."
That's a much better perspective.
I agree.
It's about seeing relationships as a partnership
Right.
where both people contribute and support each other.
Exactly.
And there's this other comment that I thought was interesting.
What's that?
This guy said, quote, "Younger men probably are because they're looking for girls who appear to be fun and carefree, whereas you probably come across as a bit boring to them. I guarantee that in time, the men who went for the fluff about girls who seemed like they'd be fun will eventually be trudging off to work every day to support their wives who never established themselves, so are now dependents along with however many kids she wanted to have, and they'll wish they'd married someone like you.
Oh, wow.
So he's talking about maturity and long-term compatibility. Like, younger guys might be attracted to more superficial qualities. But older guys who've been through more in life might appreciate a partner who's responsible and independent.
And has her life together.
Right.
It's not just about finding someone who likes you now.
Yeah.
It's about finding someone who can grow with you.
And who shares your values and respects you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about masculine energy or feminine energy.
It's about finding the right person for you.
Someone who you can be yourself with.
And who supports your dreams.
And sometimes that means taking a chance and stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, maybe making the first move.
Totally. So it's about writing your own story and defining your own terms.
And building relationships that are real and fulfilling and empowering.
I love that. And we've covered so much already, but there's still more to talk about. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So we've been talking about this Reddit thread and this idea of masculine energy and dating. And I think one of the biggest themes that's come up is authenticity.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what does it actually mean to be yourself in a relationship?
Especially with all the pressure and expectations from society.
Exactly. I was reading through the comments, and so many people were talking about how important it is to be authentic.
It's so true.
One guy said, quote, "Be fake, and you'll attract people into that facade."
Like, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
Totally. But it's easy to forget that when you're trying to impress someone.
It is. We can get so caught up in presenting the perfect image.
And we forget about actually connecting with someone who likes us for who we are.
Right. Flaws and all.
Another comment said, quote, "The cracks always form and daylight seeps through."
You can't hide your true self forever.
It's like trying to wear a mask.
Exactly. It might work for a little while.
But eventually you get tired and the mask starts to slip.
And it's not just tiring, it also stops you from really connecting with someone.
Right. How can you be truly intimate with someone if you're not being yourself?
Exactly. Now, the original poster, she seems to have internalized some of those negative ideas about masculine energy.
Yeah, she's worried that her independence makes her unattractive.
Which is so sad because those are amazing qualities.
I know. It shows how powerful societal conditioning can be.
Like, we learn these limiting beliefs about what it means to be a woman.
And then we start to believe them ourselves.
Exactly. She even calls it masculine energy.
Right, like she's accepted this idea that some traits are only for men and some are only for women.
But that's just not true.
Of course not.
We're all a mix of different qualities.
Right. Doesn't matter what gender you are.
One commenter said, quote, "People often confuse directness with acting masculine society attributes being direct as a masculine behavior, but it's just not accurate.
I love that.
It's just a human quality."
Exactly. We need to move past these rigid categories.
And embrace the fact that people are complex.
Totally. So how do we do that?
How do we get rid of these limiting beliefs and just be ourselves?
Especially when it comes to dating and relationships.
Well, first you need to be self-aware.
Okay.
Think about your values, your beliefs, your behaviors.
What makes you unique?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to let those things shine.
Don't try to change yourself for someone else.
Find people who like you for who you are.
Who appreciate your strengths.
And encourage you to be your best self.
Absolutely. One thing that really surprised me about this thread was this idea that masculine energy in a woman can actually be a good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a few people said that they found it refreshing and even attractive.
That's awesome.
Like being with a woman who's strong and independent can actually be healing.
Wow. That's a really interesting perspective.
One guy even said, quote, "There's something remarkably healing about it, like really recognizing yourself in them."
So it's like seeing those qualities in someone else helps you to embrace those parts of yourself.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's like relationships can help us to grow and evolve.
And become the best versions of ourselves.
I love that. So I think the biggest takeaway from this deep dive is to be yourself.
Don't be afraid to show your strength, your independence, your intelligence.
Those are all amazing qualities.
And find people who see those qualities as strength.
Who appreciate you for who you are.
Exactly. You deserve to be loved and appreciated for being you.
Not for who you think you should be.
Well said. This was a great conversation.
It was. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And until next time.